Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. But before I go ahead and do that, I do want to point out that both teams, Team 1 and Team 2, are in green here on the scoreboard. One is in emerald green, one is in forest green. So if you have trouble reading the differences between the two teams, I do apologize. I can't choose the colors for the teams for the scoreboard. I wish I could, but I can't do that. And in lieu of that, I'm going to again introduce Team 1 in the northeast and Team 2 in the southwest. I am going to slow it down just a little bit. We have enough time to cover that early action and introduce everybody. Starting off with the rearguard airside player here on Team 1 in the Northeast. It is IC with 3 E's going first land as a Seraphim. He is in glow in the dark green. He is a 1700, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. To his south in Ruby Red, we have the Siren Com of Forever going first land in Ruby Red. And again, he is a 1000 rated player here for his team. Going northwestwardly, we have the Aeon player over Obesity going first land. He is in Emerald Green. He is also a 1000 rated player going first land. In Orange to color Orange, we have Papa Panda going first land as an UEF. He is also a 1000 rated player here on the front line here for Team 1. And last but not least, for Team 1 in the northwest corner, the second Aeon player here for Team 1. It is AH9000. He isn't over 9,000. He isn't below 9,000. He is exactly 9,000. He's going first land. He is in Pac-Man Yellow as an 1100. So for Team 1 side of things, they have 1 UEF, 1 Seraphim, 1 Cybran, and 2 Aeon. So they have all the factions represented with a dual major in Aeon. Starting up with the southwesternmost player, the rearguard airside player for Team 2 in Emerald Green. Not Emerald Green, in Forest Green. See, I'm even doing it. Going first land. Second there is Nemo66. He is the best faction to pair with that color. He is a UEF, and he is a 1500, the highest rated player on Team 2. To his east in not Ruby Red, in Chevy Crimson, we have Kaleo. I can never pronounce that name. From a TV show, going first air as an UEF as well. And he is an 1100 going second land. To his northwest, already on the move, is Nines. I want to say Nines, I think is how I want to say that. But I'll probably call him 9 for short. He's going first land as a Seraphim. He is in Rust, and he is a 1000 rated player. In Imperial Gray to the west, we have Zardos going first air as another Seraphim here for Team 2. He is an 1100. And last but not least, there for Team 2, also on the move, is the Light Oak Tan player of Chipaka? Don't know if I said that right. Going first land again as a Cybran, and he is an 1100. So for Team 2 side of things, they have 2 Seraphim, 2 UEF, and 1 Cybran, which means that they do not have access to Aeon technology, but are dual majored in UEF and Seraphim tech. Let's go ahead and look at the reclaim situation here for this match. We have for 10 players 37,000, most likely 38,000 reclaim, which means per person that's 3.8k mass. That is a ton of mass for our players to scoop up. Most of it residing in the middle of the map. There's a little bit of pockets of mass kind of in the main bases, but essentially it's going to be very hard to claim a lot of it, and a lot of it actually residing in these upper plateau sections as well. Let's take a look at mass point layout here. There are, I think, at least 1, 2, 3, 4 actually 5 main expansion areas in terms of Mechs points. We have a quad, a quad, a quad, a quad, and a tri. That's 5, plus an additional kind of 6, 5, however you section that off. And there is a decent amount of mass. There's a total of 5 on this plateau, and of course 5 down here, and a couple on these middle ones as well. There's not a whole lot to be fought over. I do imagine that both of these, this plateau and this plateau, would definitely be fought over a lot, and I would not be surprised to see a couple of T2 artillery or even T2 PD just fire at one another, which would be very interesting to watch. Just 2 shield bases, 2 fire bases kind of hanging out, and just lobbing shells and missiles at one another in the middle of the map. I think that's everything. We covered the introductions. We covered mass in terms of reclaim and mass points. I think we're ready to speed this game up back to 0 and cover the early gameplay. We have a lot of scouts coming out here. Not scouts, sorry. Light assault bots for Team 1, outbound for Forever, trying to get a nice readout on where his enemy is going. The comm of Kaleo is kind of just hanging out over here. He is moving a little bit more northward. He's probably going to do a distance build up to this upper plateau and skip the distance going all the way around, trying to get a jump start here. Does kill off that hunter. That might be the first kill of the game here, if I'm not mistaken. There is a couple of assault bots here for Team 1's AH-9000 as well, trying to have a little bit of a kind of intel situation, but that flare will definitely be killed off by that comm of Team 2's. Again, will not check. I think that's how I'm saying it. I don't know. The P is confusing me. I don't know what it is. Just for some reason, the P being in the middle of the check, I was going to say a cheka kind of thing. It's kind of want to say it, but with the P, it throws me off. Anyway, I'll call him Chi or Check for short. Here on that western side, that's Cybern for Team 2. We do see the comm of 9s moving forward, or 9 for short. He's going to be able to kill off this hunter soon, and Team 1 will get a nice kind of early intelligence on what Team 2 is doing. Team 1 will get intel on Team 2. A lot of Team 1 mech marines being spammed up by Kaleo, trying to secure this mass field and the other not T1 mass points, but at least the mass points in general. Of course, there are a decent amount of reclaim here in these bundle of wrecks. The both teams definitely going to want to fight over that. We do see the comm of AH on that upper plateau with his opponent of Check as well. So it looks like that might be the first engagement of comm on comm action. We do have a transport outbound from Team 1's air player of IC, dropping in a couple of these assault bots as well as a couple of engineers to scoop all of that mass. And we do see an bomber coming out, taking 2 of those engineers out. And we won't stop all of the reclaim efforts. We'll hinder it severely, though. And of course, that bomber will kill off that last engineer as well. It needs to keep moving, and you can see that engineer's trying to be micro. The bomb is inbound. It will miss, but will kill some of the reclaim off as well. And a Team 1 PD trying to be established to hold off that one solitary engineer. There is a couple of interceptors inbound. Will they intercept that unit? No, they won't. And there goes that last engineer here for Team 1's air player of IC. I do love that aggressive move, trying to deny reclaim up on this upper plateau section. Of course, he wishes it lasted longer, but at least something is better than nothing. But a couple of those T1 Selens are just wrecking that T1 PD. It cannot be established, essentially. Well, it does look like he's going to switch targets and go after the land factory. He's going to produce some engineers. With only one Selen in range, that's not going to be defeated very, very quickly. In Team 1 side of things, the comm of Forever has essentially taken most of this eastern section of the map. Team 2's Kaleo is trying to do what he can and secure this quad mechs, or quad mechs position. I don't know why that sounded weird in my head, but it did, and he is doing a pretty good job of it. But there are a lot more units here for Team 1. Those units are actually falling back as well. And there is one solitary mechs on the southeastern corner and northwestern corner. I didn't notice that earlier on, but there's a tiny bit of mass to go after. And a little bit can make the difference. Team 2 being very aggressive. Well, Team 2's comm of 9 being very aggressive with their comm. And Team 2 has claimed the entire southeastern plateau for themselves. Huge advantage here for Team 2 early on. We do see, of course, that rivalry might start to be started here between Team 1 and Team 2 on this upper plateau, but Team 1 is a little bit ahead in that regard, and they might even jump some units over and claim that southwestern one. A couple of engineers supporting here in the northwest from Papa Panda. He hasn't been pushing very aggressively. The comm of Czech is alone and kind of far forward. This would be a good opportunity for the comm of Papa Panda to move forward and go after him, but he is building some T1 Lobos and some Strikers as well, going mass T1. We do see a couple of units they have been transferred over to Team 1's one of their other players of Obesity. Don't know what that's about. And we have a transport from one player, a couple of units from another player, And then a couple of what is going on? He's just gifting over squads of units. I don't know what that's about, but they have some strategy. Unfortunately, the window to try to, just bum rush that comm of Czech is definitely, it's gone. There was an opportunity. It's not there now, unfortunately. We do see units inbound here through this upper plateau. Don't know if they'll do a whole lot there. Oh, but they are going for the southwest one. There are a couple of T1 Thams guarding the area. There is some Lobos and some Strikers on board that transport, and it will drop off. There they go. T1 AA gun is going to get killed off very quickly. There it goes. It was not long for this roll. That transport will make it out of Dodge. T2 coming online here for Obesity to secure this engagement point. This I can't talk for a second. There we go. I had a frog in my throat or something. This kill box here, not the best position if he wants to sit right here. The best would be either, of course, the upper plateau section to get a little bit more of a vantage point, or fall back a little bit and kind of create kind of a half circle engagement. There's advantages to both, but definitely I think in this case Team 2 has not just the high ground advantage, but just the map layout advantage. And those units are coming in from the west side, avoiding these eastern units on this upper plateau. Going after those facilities, the Strikers push forward to assist the protection of those Lobos. And here comes those shots, and they're going to wreak havoc on those Team 1 factories. There are some Thams nearby. So Team 1's air player needs to micro these a little bit better if he wants to keep, at least, not keep them alive, but essentially knock out those facilities, at least for the time being. And there is a nice hook attack coming in from the north, actually from the south to the north here for Czech, going after some T1 Mechs and a Hydro. Team 1 doesn't really have a lot of response to this. They are building some more mass storages. I don't see anything coming out of those factories. And we see a couple of units trying to just, again, block up this attack. But really, this is where the main crux of the attack here for Czech. He has his comm fallen back way far, so that way he doesn't get assassinated earlier on or ganged up on. And that's not going well here. We do see a T2 engineer up top, but don't know what that was about. Den engineers or something. We see a couple of upgrades here for Team 2. T2, Gun, and Nano. Gun already online here for 9. T2 is about ready to tick into T3 here for Team 2's air player. Team 1 doing the same thing and has a much more progress on that upgrade to T3. The Team 1's air player will have this slight advantage, but look at this. In the rear, this attack wasn't really repelled as much as I thought it was going to be, and units are being spammed up as quickly as they can be, and of course T1 PD for the assist. T2 Oblivion PD as well being used to ward off these incoming units, and a large column of units inbound here for AH to be able to try to ward off these units, but unfortunately, here for this attack out from Czech, didn't kill off any of the T2 mechs. Killed off some engineers. They are not even going to get that T2 mechs up there. Should have probably taken it slow and steady and gone after the T2 mechs that they could have. But did take out one T1 mech, so I guess that's not nothing. But now all those units are gone, and it opens the doors for an attack. There is one hoplite online. Would probably prefer a Rhino in this case. But again, something is better than nothing. Team 1 has secured the northwest. So while Team 2 owns the southeast, Team 1 owns the northwest plateau. And the horde of Team 1 Thams are inbound with supporting Zooey in the mix, lead by that comm of 9 with Nano and Gun. Obesity has T2. He is definitely outmatched here in this regard. There is the comm of IC, the air player, on the front line as well. Couple of PD have been established and are trying to rip through those units, but they are getting a couple of AoE kills here, so definitely going to be an assist in that regard. T1 PD going to be established by the comm himself, be able to ward off T2 Blazes as well, and they're going to focus down that comm. The comm of Team 2's 9 focusing the PD, and that is a lot of Tham support, of course, that needs to just get in there and engage. Forever comes in with his assist as well, but he's dealing with attack from Kaleo in the east. This is a dual attack here from Team 2's southeastern players, and I don't know if it went the way that 9 thought it would. A lot of Thams are still online. Most of the units and support are focusing on that comm. He's dropped into the red. He has one veterancy, but I don't think he's getting out of range, and there he goes, the first kill in the game here for Team 1 and in the game overall at 12.5 minutes. And Obesity does, of course, get the credit for that kill. Units immediately transferred over to Nemo 66. And that is definitely not the position that Team 2 wants to be in. They wanted to knock out, or at least push back Obesity. That definitely did not go the way that he thought it would. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But in the north, we do see not a counterattack, but the attack that I mentioned earlier on that could have happened. Going after Czech, T2 pillars, and just ripping through that column of Czech. He is not staying online. He does have some Mantis support, but that's not going well. There he goes. It's now a second kill here. 13 minutes. Team 2 loses another player. Nemo gets control, at least for the time being, of that western front. I would not be surprised to see him hand something over to either Zardos or Kaleo. I feel like Kaleo could easily manage this eastern side. Yep, there immediately, as I make the comment about it, Nemo makes the same decision I would have, so it's good that I'm thinking along the same lines as a 1500. Just goes to the 200 casts I've done. I'm like, if I was him, what would I do? Oh, I'd do this. Oh, and then it happened. Kaleo is pushing forward with his comm and assisting units. A lot of rocket bots here on this eastern side. I don't really see those as much as I used to. Usually the Cybern players just build either Vipers, those missile launchers, or the Rhino, the T2 tanks. We do see some pillars here for Kaleo and a Parashield. Love to see it. But those missiles outbound from those hoplites are just too much and will force back that attack. There is one T1 Mechs that will be killed off by one solitary pillar. And he will gain a rank in veterancy for that. So 3 hit points a second is better than nothing. And Team 1 now starting to exert control of the northwestern corner now that 2 players on Team 2 have been killed off. Is that 3? It is T3 coming online here for AH9000. Maybe he'll go for an early Colossus. Who knows? One T1 PD is holding off this attack for now. Hoplite coming into range of Aurora. Definitely not the best situation to be in for that guy. He only has 660 hit points. And all those Aurora are focusing on the PD. Once that's killed off, the Obsidian will die due to that Hoplite and PD. And now the Hoplite definitely has the advantage. We, of course, see more of them in the west. Though the attack didn't really go the way that AH thought it would. But taking out 2 T1 Mexes isn't too bad. We do see Mongeese coming online here for Papa Panda, lining them up behind his pillars. He needs at least a couple Parashields to protect them. And AA as well. Both players in the rear have T3 air technology. Neither of them really spamming it out. We do see a couple of interceptors and ASFs. Same thing here in the northeast. And a lot of interceptors just assisting that comm directly. And I don't see... It does look like Team 2 is taking more of an aggressive air production approach. He does have 2 bases, to be fair. So he has... Let's see what the exact numbers are. Team 1's air player of IC only at 74 mass a second, while Team 2's air player has 280 essentially, so more than almost 4 times the amount of mass than his opponent in the air. That's going to be a huge advantage, especially if Team 2's player of Zardos does produce a couple of Nathas and some Volthus. That is definitely snipe material here. If Team 1 is paying attention, he will see that. But for the time being, that is definitely some snipe potential. And the attack in the northwest has commenced here, going after some T3 units in the form of these Loyalists. Lots of Mongeese. Mongeese not known for their hit points, known for their long kind of T3-esque Gatling gun on the right arm there. Not the Rippers. The heck are they called again? I totally forgot what the T3 PD is called. Not Riptides. That's a different unit. Ravagers. Ah, there we go. I knew it was like the R word or something. Anyway, and those Loyalists are pushing back against those Mongeese, and Mongeese actually doing a decent job. Of course, they have the range advantage slightly. The AoE cannon, not AoE cannon, the EMP cannon on board. Those Loyalists definitely dealing a serious blow to their numbers. But it's a back and forth here between these 2 players. It's now, again, not Czech, but it is Nemo forcing back that front line here for Team 1. And Team 1 trying to attack the air player. So the air player, of course, the disadvantage here, he has to split his attention all the time between air production, between ground forces, between all this other stuff. That is the disadvantage with having less players. The advantage is you have more mass, and you just do. Just because your teammates have built other mass facilities, whether they be mass fabs, rascoms, or the typical mass extractors. That Titan isn't moving, and it's taking a severe blow to its hit points. Forever is on the front line in the yellow, but does have gun and is about to cross over into 3-star territory. Would love to see him go nano just to assist in protection of that commander, but maybe he's focused on other pursuits for the time being. We do see an attack here coming out from Team 2 as well. There are some rhinos in the mix here going after pillars, and I think the advantage does reside with Team 2's Nemo. I think all of those T3 unit loyalists have been killed off. There's some more over here to the west. Actually, some of them did fall back, but it does look like Team 1 is operating at a disadvantage. Now with Percy's online and a Titan escort, that is definitely going to start residing in Team 1 if Team 2 does not produce his own brick support. Which as of right now, I don't see them, but I mean, he's going loyalist first and then bricks most likely. And I think they're being produced back here. Yep, I see a brick and I see another brick online. So brick support coming in to the north and an attack as well to the north against AH. Not going super well. The PD could be better placed in this narrow environment like this. Putting them on the edge is kind of nice. If they were artillery, they'd be better placed, but if they have to be placed in the middle to get a nice direct line of sight. They don't lob their shots like either artillery or missiles or whatever the case may be. So putting them on the edges doesn't really do a whole lot, but I do love this play out from Team 1's frontline player of Obesity, going after just a couple of Team 1 units with a Harbinger and just trying to get some kills, just trying to reduce the amount of damage on that front line. We see a nice horde of Team 1 units online here for Forever as well. He's focusing a little bit more on this western approach when he notices that the comm is on the eastern side. This could be a nice combined push, and fire base hopping is going on here for Obesity. You can see the cannons, unfortunately, because they are direct line of sight, are pretty much they're having a disagreement with that environment. So got to be wary of that as you place PD on the map. We do see more forces diverted from Team 1's front line from AH, and he's pushing directly into the north, cutting off any hope of supply lines here for that northwestern side. We do see they are just launching an attack southward. They do not care. This will force a lot of units to retreat off of this middle line and be forced to essentially, retreat and vacate to other prospects, and all of the units retreat, fearing that the units outbound here from Team 1's Papa Panda might be given the order to attack. So I do love this. Does give Team 1 a lot of breathing room and does deny a decent amount of eco for the time being. A lot of ASFs are nearby to either protect those units inbound here or at least prevent any sort of gunships or bombers inbound from Team 1. We do see that squadron of gunships inbound. Oh, nope, they're going to stop for the time being. They have a couple of Mothas as well. And we have some ASFs going to be escorting them. I would like to see them transferred over to somebody, either the ASFs or the gunships, either the one player or the other, just so that they can micro both forces a lot better. But I feel like the ASFs being being gifted over to Zardos would definitely be better, so that the air player has less things to worry about versus more. But that production base is taken out in the west. The attack isn't super successful, but at least at the minimum has denied a decent amount of mexes. Would have probably liked to take out 2 more T2 mexes, but again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mexes. Most likely all of them T2. Definitely is a lot of eco for that air player to lose. And we see an attack coming in from the east from Team 1's Forever, and Kaleo is being pushed back by a decent amount of support. We have bricks, we have hoplites, we have a whole bunch of tanks. We have, did I say bricks? We saw a brick in there. Loyalists. Loyalists just died, actually. And that comm is being pushed back. He's a 4-star veterancy, trying to get up to 5-star. He drops into the red and trying to bob and weave, bob and weave, bob and weave. Missiles raining in, plasma raining in. It is not feeling good here. He has some Titan support coming in. He's dropped below essentially 1,500 hit points. Oh, there's a nice barrage. He's being body blocked by his own units, and there it is. He may have been able to get out of range for the most part, but the red player of Team 1 kills the red player of Team 2. And it is now a 5v2 in favor of Team 1. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Again, as a reminder, Team 1 has 887 mass per second. Team 2 almost at 1,000, so over about 100 mass difference. The totals keep changing because of reclaim, whatever the case may be. Team 1 essentially operating at 55-60% of the map versus Team 2's maybe 45%. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen. And again, thank you so much for watching, and share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets, your furry little friends. But some pets are not furry. You can have a snake, and that snake is not furry. I couldn't imagine owning a snake. It's not that I don't like snakes. I just couldn't imagine, like, having a dog versus having a snake. The relationship, not the relationship, but like the way you play with the two pets, vastly different, I would imagine. But I've never owned a snake, so I have no idea. For those of you who do own snakes, let me know down in the comments what it's like owning a snake. We do see a bunch. Where are those missiles going? Were those just strays being shot off? I don't know, but they went really far. Yeah, they're inbound. They look like Viper missiles. Weird. Anyway, there they go. Anyway, we do see that collapse of the eastern front here for Team 2. Team 2 needs to buckle down and focus on some sort of avenue of, safe, not avenue, but, concentrated location of safety. They have taken the upper plateau. They're going to start raining in PD from that upper section. You can see there are some artillery and missiles trying to rain into this position. There's a lot of TMD to protect them, and more being built all the time. This firebase down south is, well, not down south, but intentionally like, hey, I'm down here. And the other firebase is up there. So height advantage, but not actually advantage. But we all would like to assume that it's an advantage, but it's not really an advantage, at least not in this game. And a massive army of T3 units supporting some T2 units. And that is a lot of bricks inbound to some Percys. Percys are being ripped to shreds before they can fire more shots. Bricks are actually being kind of stopped a little bit due to the fact that units just running into them and breaking up their formation, at least slowing them down. And those Percys are trying to retreat. Team 1 needs some sort of assistance here, or I feel like the first evacuation of Papa Panda will start to commence. Those bricks are not stopping. That's not artillery. That is a T3 Mechs with T2 mass map support. And those Percys have stopped, and unfortunately for those Percys, that is a death sentence here. There are just too many shots inbound, and that is going to call it. The engineers are going to land and immediately start scooping stuff up, but those engineers are not long for this world either. The comm of Papa Panda is going to push forward and start building a Ravager. I don't know if that's really what you want here. I think T2 PD would definitely be better. You need to get those Percys underneath shield coverage and take out those bricks as well. There goes another brick here for Team 2's attack inbound from Nemo. Someone die? Thought I heard an explosion. Anyway, those Percys not staying underneath shield coverage, not the best idea. There goes that Papa Panda. He's retreating. He has nothing on board except T2. No veterancy of any sort. Percys, again, should have just stayed under shield coverage to be able to support this base. A lot of T3 facilities, a lot of hit points, and a T3 land headquarters as well. Should be spamming up as many units as he can. He is producing more Percys off the line, and there are more bricks coming in. It's going to be tight. There are some PD being built here by his teammate of AH to help support and help prevent any sort of bleeding. We do see one solitary little mantis here for Nemo just being annoying and not really being killed off. Colossus is inbound from the east. PD is being built in the west. And we do see that comm is just going to sit there and take some shots from those rhinos. He will be able to kill both these up pretty quickly. And those bricks are actually diverting westward, very surprisingly. And the Ravager does get finished. I was kind of surprised that it actually got finished off. There goes another brick. Team 1 definitely took a hit in this regard, but that base will be up and running pretty quickly, though. A nice attack force does come inbound and then get immediately pushed back here by Team 2's Nemo. They're just having trouble. They come in, they kill infrastructure, they kill units, and then they leave, and all that mass stays there for Team 2. Team 1 has to get better, at least at this regard, in taking out territory and keeping it. And in the southeast, look at this. Team 2 is essentially knocked out of the entire southeastern corner. Everything that remained of the old Kaleo base is gone. That is not great here for Team 2. We do see a couple of Othams being taken up by Vipers and some Hoplites. They do come in range of those Othams, but that was not the best decision because those Othams will rip those Hoplites to shreds. Wait. IC to allies to C? Don't know what that means. Back, please, says forever. We do see a FAF point online here for Nemo. And that will be being able to push back at least some of this force for the time being. And those units are still charging. There is a chicken that's almost constructed. Going after the engineers at least would slow it down. At this point, you're not going to stop construction, but at least halt it for the time being. Team 1, of course, does have that Colossus somewhere. Don't know where it went. Oh, there it is up here. It's charging the front line here on the west side here, outbound from Obesity. But you see in the rear, nice air grid has been produced here by the air player. How is Nemo's? Very comparable. He doesn't have... I thought he was going to go for Nuke or something, but I guess not. And at that point, we'll be able to deal with the rest of the units assisting that chicken as well. But again, the issue for Team 2 is this entire section of the map is now controlled by Team 1. That is a lot of mass points to be down. It's essentially knocked out a ton of eco. Team 1 is now in the lead by a decent margin at over 200 mass a second. So a couple of minutes ago, Team 2 was ahead. Now Team 1 is ahead. Team 1 is now up 300 mass a second. That is a decent amount of mass. And they are losing mass as time goes on. That Colossus will just ignore that last Gunther. And Mechs are being chewed up as well. Facilities being chewed up as well. There's another Mechs. Does kill off that Mechs. This production base is gone here for Nemo. He needs a way to fight back. I think the air is the answer. He definitely has the advantage in ASS for the time being. Those gunships and Nothas were built. They're just kind of sitting there now. There is a chicken, of course, that we mentioned earlier coming online, going to throw itself at this front line. And a group of transports with Cybran units on board here for Team 1. There's some bricks. I see some loyalists, rhinos, bouncer, trying to move and look at it. T2 units. I think those are hoplites. Oh, nope. Transports are falling back. Wonder why they're falling back. There's ASFs are on the case. They're going to move eastward. They could have just dropped right here and be done with it. I don't know why they're going all the way back. Maybe they just don't want to hop back on that transport. We do see the Colossus being ripped to shreds by Broadsword and Crabs with a huge amount of engineers. That is an army of engineers on that front line. And the transports are being just focused down here by all of the ASFs from Team 2. And that is going to be a great engagement here for Team 1 because all those ASFs will die on their side of the map. There's a lot of Team 1 AA guns, not a whole lot of AA support, but again, something is better than nothing. And, of course, Team 2 will gain air dominance here, but they're losing a lot of ASFs in this regard. Team 2 is down to 50 Oh, let's back it up a little bit. 47 ASFs. Team 1 has essentially none. And they're actually going to drop to 42 and still falling due to AA that is constantly being built here by Team 1's engineers and mobile as well. I don't know if that was the best call, Nemo. I mean, you took out some transports with units on it, but you lost a lot of your ASFs. I don't think that was the best gain. We have some gunships inbound coming in. A lot of T1, AA, and T2 has been spammed up. Panda will be perfectly fine underneath that shield. Going after the T3 land headquarters. That's not gonna finish anytime soon. Or not finish. That attack isn't really gonna move. And we do see those gunships are gonna just keep pushing. A couple of them do get by that AA, but at this point, I don't know if it's really worth it. Maybe they'll get a couple of mass points killed. But with all the ASFs being built constantly by Team 1's air player, I don't know if that's really worth it. Those look like it was more of a move order more than an actual attack on something. There goes the last broadsword. Those ASFs have essentially been whittled down by Team 1. I have this really weird... Sorry, I don't mean... I apologize. I have this weird glitch in my ears. Hold on. So I don't have ears for a second because of the fact that for some reason my headset just went. Anyway, those ASFs have been killed off. Team 1 it went from having some ASFs to no ASFs to being, down in air control to being essentially not exactly the exact same pace or the exact same amount of ASFs as Team 2. Granted, there's like a dozen or so left. But it was air dominance for at least a little bit there. Definitely should have just retreated all of that. But now the attack on the ground pushes through, and now Team 2 is fighting back. This is coming out from Zardos. We see a couple of broadswords going after a Rambocom, and that's not going to go very well. There he goes. I don't know where he was really going, trying to take out that firebase up top. Artillery raining in over here to the east, kind of what I talked about earlier. That firebase was killed off. Actually, there's really nothing in that base, just a couple of mass FAFs, a T3 mechs, and a couple shields. Crab guarding the Midwest approach. A large army here to the northwest covering both sections. This canyon and this canyon. Firebase up here in the northwest protecting one T3 mass point. Better than nothing, of course. Chicken moving into the east, but it's going to get a Colossus to the side here pretty soon with a monkey as well. We have some Loyalists being thrown on that front line to assist. They're going to reduce the shields on that T3 mobile shield, but I think that's really all those Loyalists and bricks are really going to do. The Colossus, man, English is hard. That laser is down. If you noticed it for a second, it grabbed a hold of that mobile shield, and then it couldn't fire its laser because the mobile shield was actually preventing it because the Colossus was inside the shield. So the shield goes both ways. It doesn't let anything enemy with signatures go in or out. And that Colossus trying to get out of range of that Ion Storm. Turning around isn't the best idea. Should have just gone straight. And there he goes, dropping into the red, sub 20,000. Will he get out of range? Yes, he will. That's a lot more hit points gone. And now two Fat Boys raining in artillery fire from the south against this upper plateau base. Not really going well here for Team 1. They have a plan of attack against that. Massive amounts of efforts to go for P-Gens / quantum gateways. We have a Salvation coming online. Very interesting play. Not going for emissary. I feel like emissary would be definitely better, and it's cheaper. Team 2 doesn't really have shields. They have one protecting their T2 P-Gens. That's it. And that's usually just a tactic to prevent any sort of bombers coming in and wrecking the energy production here against the air player. Don't see much anything else here for Team 2. More chickens. But there is a nuke now online, and it is loaded. Team 2 has access to nuclear technology. Where could they launch it? This base, SMD very far forward. Could easily take out this base, and it isn't loaded. There isn't anything to the west. Could take out Papa Panda. There is a nuke online here for Team 1. That was just built. SMD right next to it. That could easily be taken out as well. The air grid in the northeast corner is protected for now. There goes the nuke. It is launching, and it's going to the north, going after this base. It's kind of a disappointment. Team 2 could have easily taken out this base. We see all those engineers and the comm leaving to try to get out of range. The units are just going to issue their movement. The commander going to issue the movement orders and call it good. And that Colossus will take a hit. Will not die from that nuke. But it is Seraphim, so it is the prettiest nuke. Here it goes. Takes out all of those defenses. Colossus loses almost loses, 75% of its hit points. And now the Crab pushing forward against some Perseus. But the Perseus are going to be able to get in some of that distance because that Crab is retreating. Probably due to the fact that this massive amount of units from the west are moving in. There's a lot of brick support, so that wall should be perfectly fine here for Team 2 for the time being. And two Fat Boys getting at some monkeys from long range. We have some T2 Corsairs inbound for said Fat Boys. Almost said Colossus. But there they go. They're hitting the shields. They don't take out the shields in one run. It'll take another run to take out those shields. Team 1 could easily produce some gunships or whatever the case may be. There goes the ASFs here. Bombers are taken out very quickly by that group of ASFs. I still feel like Team 2's Nemo could have easily just left from this side of the map and still had a ton more ASFs. Would actually probably have. He currently has 82. Would have over 120 probably at the minimum at this point. There is a chicken online. Chicken will be forced to retreat. At this point, I would have just sent the chicken in. And there's not really a lot of attack power besides the Fat Boy. There's a couple of Authams, there's a couple of Sniper Bots, and a couple of shields. But essentially that's it. And of course the Fat Boy using its mobile factory capabilities in producing Percy's on that front line. Love, love, love to see it. Not enough people use those. And speaking of Percy's in the northeast, those crabs push forward once again. But now the crab is being overrun by Percy fire and by Ravager fire. Actually, just 2 Ravagers. One crab does die, taking artillery fire as well. T1 Mech Marines. Don't know what they're doing, but I think they're just being annoying. There go the shots inbound. One shot takes those out. But just being annoying, essentially, at this point. But more and more Percys are dying. Missile barrage is inbound from the north. Will it kill off that? Oh, it'll take a decent amount of hit points off the Megalith, but some of the shots do miss because, of course, the crab is taller than other experimentals in terms of its, like, lower body taller, and so some of those shots do miss. ASF's coming in to protect those crabs. Another nuke is outbound here from Team 2. Going to take out this position. There is a T3 Mechs that will be taken out, but that is about it. Chicken is just going to go for it here. There is more support, not a lot. There is a chicken now online for Zardos. Those monkeys still running around in the northeast being annoying against that part trying to shoot something. Salvation almost in the 50% range. It's about 42% at the current rate. Megalith just taking Ravager fire for essentially no reason. Could easily wipe out this base if it was just given the order to move. There goes that nuke. Kaboom! Takes out that upper plateau. And there goes a Colossus inbound. Does take out both of those Fat Boys. That chicken, the monkey, looks like it played a little bit of a role. But 2 monkeys and a Colossus versus a chicken. I will take the Team 1 lineup all day, every day here. Is there anything of note here in the south? Don't know where the comm is going. We see a couple of T1 Zooey just all the way back here. A comm with a supporting Rambo comm just dealing with those. Gunships being built as well for some sort of attack, of course. Artillery is being built by Zardos. He has a nuke, of course, and heavily assisting it. We see crabs being mass spammed here in the northwest section here for Nemo. He's attacking with another crab. That is not going to go well here for either team, essentially. That's going to be a lot of dead units between that Colossus and all those Harbingers. But crab is inching forward, and Ravagers just constantly raining in it. We have engineers on the front line scooping that wreck up very, very quickly. There goes that nuke. Actually, that's not a nuke. That is a Rascom being thrown at the front line. Maybe he thought to select his Rambo comms, but that's not the best unit to use against a Colossus. Rambo comm definitely a lot better than a regular Rascom, but takes out more defenses here. Is it going to be enough? Oh, I think it... Oh, it might... Oh, there it goes! A shot from a Percy kills off that Megalith. More Rascoms dying. Rascoms circling around that Colossus. Otham's getting into the rear. Definitely not the situation that Colossus wants to be in. An attack in from the east from Zardos. This eastern edge here for Team 1's forever is just being riddled down bit by bit. Team 1, of course, has that salvation, and it's over 50% into the 60% range. And there it goes. The Colossus is down in the north. Harbinger's running in. Aurora as well, but there's just so many bricks to chew through. The crab definitely took a huge amount of hit point loss in that regard. There's not a lot of defenses as well. Those bricks are going to break through. Team 2 fighting back with a vengeance with its land units. And there goes some ASFs for a couple of players here for Team 1 going after that group of broadswords without any support. Definitely not the situation to be in. There are some lightning tanks and the main board of ASFs. There goes another air attack. Both players will commit. We do have a nice little bouncer nearby. The ASFs will be whittled down very, very quickly here for Team 2's Nemo. Oh, they're going to go for it anyways. It's not great. It's not great for either player, but Team 1 definitely has air control at the minimum, if not close to air dominance. Gunships could easily just wait and go, not fall all the way back, but go over here. A nice group of Zooey coming in and taking a ton of mass points here, going after the T3 land headquarters and just anything else they can shoot at. I think there was a transport most likely here from Team 1. Wow, that crab was killed off by a bunch of Zooey support. Team 1 coming in clutch with those Zooeys. We can see more Bricks do charge that front line, but there's so much more, PD here. It's not really going to matter. Apocalypse, nuke launcher, almost has one loaded, just passively loading. Not really any assistance on that thing. We have a crab being bombarded by Othams in the east. Chicken coming in to claim its head. Forever just sitting there hanging out. Could get on a transport, but those are only T1, so can't get on that transport. The crab will die. Could easily just sacrifice itself on top of all those Othams and kill a bunch of them off that way. There goes the crab. How many Othams will die? Squatter show about 4 or 5. This base is going to be ripped to shreds. Team 1 might lose their first player of the match as Forever doesn't stop moving. And he's not moving. Oh, now he's moving, but it's a little too late now. That chicken is coming for his head, and he will just control K anyways. Now it is a 4v2 in favor of Team 1. We have T2 Notha's inbound here from that air player. How is that Salvation doing? It is now in the green. More shields being built up to protect it. Now at 77% and rising. But those Nothas only going to get one pass in because of all those lightning tanks above, or not above, but below them. Team 1 has lost the entire eastern edge, at least the eastern edge that was controlled by Forever. Team 2 has started to reclaim what was once theirs. Team 2 almost having control of the western edge as well. Nuke launching once again. 2 nukes launching. Where are those nukes coming at? Team 1 has at least 1 nuke launch. Oh, they have 2 nuke launches. Didn't even notice the one up here going into the east for this position. I think it's going to be a little too late though. Oh, I should have led that shot a little bit. Oh, it's gonna. It might clip the chicken. It might clip the chicken.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, it barely doesn't kill the chicken. Another nuke launching here. This time outbound here from Team 2. Kills off this position. And of course, kaboom! Kaboom! And then we'll see another kaboom here in a second. Going after this position. Not really anything here, especially with the crabs and broadsword support. The units inbound here to the east. Notha's inbound as well. Should have led the target a little bit. Will kill off that chicken now. Lines of T2 PD being spammed up to go after those Othams. And they're doing a pretty good job of holding them off. There's a lot of shields in this mix as well. Those Othams have a tall order to shoot through, though. Some Othams are being ripped through some Oblivions are being ripped through pretty quickly. But those units aren't giving a lot of orders to constantly move in. And AH-9000 has been killed off by that broadsword support. Outbound here from Team 2's air player. They're going to go out the nuke launcher, kill everything off over here. In that regard, ASS will fight once again. Team 1 will win that fight, and all those broadswords are dead. Team 1 now has 3 players left. Team 2 has 2 players left. Team 1 still in favor of us in the lead in terms of comms left alive. But once that Salvation comes online, it is not going to be very pretty here for Team 1. Team 2 needs to go after SMD, and this doesn't have any SMD loaded, and there are units inbound constantly. We have a crab coming in from the west. This is not great here for Team 1. It was Team 1's game, at least for a little bit, to win. At the minimum, I felt like they were leading, especially in the southeastern section, but looks like their momentum kind of fizzled out a little bit. T3, Pigeons being taken out. Cascades happening, not very good. We have a lot of that build power being redirected into defenses. Bricks are coming in. The main target should be the Salvation artillery. And those shields are falling very, very quickly. The crab coming into range as well. That is not a good story here for Team 1. We have Papa Panda moving forward with his commander. Trying to overcharge that unit. And that Salvation was almost done. It was 90%. And it is now at 0%. And it actually just disappears. Mass gets vaporized in that regard. Massive amounts of T1 spam. That was Team 1's ace in the hole. They're building chickens in the northeast here by that air player. And the comm of Papa Panda gets killed off by Nemo anyways due to that crab. I think it wasn't the best idea launching your comm at the enemy with not really a lot of firepower. But, something's better than nothing. And there goes Team 1 is now at Team 1's at 1 comm left. Team 2 is at 2 comms left. When did Obesity die? I guess Obesity died. Yeah, when did he die? Huh. I don't. Because that's Papa Panda right here. When did it be? Because this used to be maybe Obesity Control Kate or something. I don't know. It's now a 1v2 in favor of Team 2 for the first time in this game. Chicken coming in to assist, going after that healthy crab. And now Team 1 has, sorry, not Team 1, IC has full control of Team 1's eco and resources. Team 1, 600 mass a second. Team 2, 1,200. 2-to-1 ratio here. And there's a lot of units inbound here. It is not looking good here. And there goes that crab, going to come in and just stand there and take it. Even again, if the chicken dies, that crab will die. And I feel like the crab will actually... Oh, he does end up living. Again, and I make that comment for now, because there goes the ion storm, and there goes the crab. The crab was not long for this world. That is the benefit of the chicken, is the fact that if you're close enough to the enemy units, it might not even matter if you die. They might just die to the ion storm. But Bomber is online and is going after units in the east. There are a couple of lightning tanks in the mix. There it goes. We'll kill off all of those units. Kaboom! Take off that line of units. 2 chickens still approaching from the south. Crab approaching from the west. More crabs approaching. Of course, Nuke is online and launching as we speak. What is this going after? It's going after this position with no SMD support. Essentially the entire game. There was an SMD online. There just wasn't anything loaded in it. Those chickens might be walking into friendly fire territory here. Now that they're moving up. Oh, it's... let's see if that nuke ends up landing. That is some close fire support if I've ever seen it. The chickens will actually move to the east to avoid the incoming nuke. There it goes, sailing above the battlefield. We have units inbound here for the rear guard air slide, and there it goes, kaboom, takes out everything except the T3 Pigeon, but that'll be killed off by other T2 unit, Team 2's units. There's some Percy's online. The bomber going after the chickens, of course. Will take a while to chew through all those hit points, but now we have units raining into the northeast. Team 1 needs more defenses online and quick. I felt like Team 1 had this, not essentially in the back, but they had a larger lead than Team 1. Team 1 had a larger lead than Team 2 did, and now it's going to flip the script. Team 2 does have artillery on a line. We didn't see any game enders in this game. That's, not always important to see game enders. I'd love to see them, but every game is not just filled with game enders. And chickens just being annihilated by bomber fire and by cousin chicken fire as well. There it goes, kills another chicken off, and that chicken gonna walk into some ion storm. That's not gonna feel good. He's trying to divert a little bit to the east to avoid that ion storm. There it goes, and the ASF's guarding that bomber. I feel like at this point we can just speed it up a little bit and watch the demise of Team 1's air player, unless he has some magic trick in the book, like some YOLO hiding somewhere. I don't see how they can win this. Team 2 owns 70% of the map at a minimum. Units now raining into the main facility. Team 1 PD trying to be spammed up. Lots of lightning tanks denying any sort of T1 bomber spam. Building more shields. There's a chicken under construction that was been abandoned, but it's not going where. There goes that bomber. Close fire support. Cascade happens against IC's air grid. That's gotta hurt. And that's essentially it here. That the only thing really left online is that bomber, and that bomber is just gonna go somewhere else. Where is it going? It's going for the air grid here against Nemo, but even again, if he kills that off, Zardoz still has a decent amount of forces on the ground. We do have a base in the west here for IC that was once owned by AH9000. He's building some restorers, but I think it's a little too late for that. The bomber is inbound. Team 2 should know about this. They see the icon if they're paying attention. We do see a couple of T3 anti-air SAM sites, and we see Novax, because why not? And there goes that bomber. Gonna drop a shot, and essentially that'll be the only thing it does. Will land directly in the middle of that air grid, kills off essentially all of it, and then the comm of Nemo will come in and just move a little bit out of the way. And there goes the purge here in the northeast. The comm of IC leading some RAS comms to somewhere else in the desert. And we have this Megalith charging the front line here against IC. And yeah, this is not Not going well. There are, I mean, the Restorers do have a decent amount of AA capabilities on board, so that amount of ASFs is not enough, I feel like, to challenge those gunships. Gunships have 6,000 hit points versus the ASFs have 2,300, so essentially a 3-to-1 ratio. Definitely not the best situation to be in terms of hit points alone. But I feel like the noose is slowly enclosing around IC. Oh, it does look like maybe he was killed off by a transport? I'm talking about the comm of obesity. Maybe he control K'd up here. Don't know, but if he was killed one way or the other. Conversation in chat in Russian. Whoa, that's a lot of artillery fire. Hello, that is a second Hovatham, and it's spamming out artillery as fast as it can. And that base is not going to survive any longer. Team 1 is, again, not going to win this, unfortunately. If you're rooting for Team 1, I apologize. I thought they had a pretty good game going into the 25, 30-minute mark. We have Restorers inbound coming in from the west. The ASFs for Team 2 are not well, they're nearby, but not really that nearby. But there are more T3 anti-air facilities being built. They're going to go after some pigeons, maybe? Maybe the comm. The Restorers are being dealt with. They're trying to track down the comm, but that he's going to walk directly. Oh, that's going to hurt those Restorers. Going after engineers, that's not what you should go after. And there just goes the barrage of SAMs. And that is going to be it for that attack. That wasn't going to go anywhere, unfortunately. Should have just used them up here. Team 1's IC is not going to quit. He's not going to control K. He's not going to vacate. He's going to be killed off in combat. Chicken's just carving everything out of Team 1's bases. And that comm, it looks like he has been spotted by the chickens. There he goes. GG, says Zardos. Yep, he knows it over. IC goes, nope, not dealing with that anymore. Control K's everything. And that is a win here for Team 2. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment of the video was. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that share button. Share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. Let's get on to the award section here, MVP and MUP. We had a lot of 1,000 and 1,100s in this game. I feel like... Who did it? I mean, trying to feel like who did the best job on both teams. IC could have definitely pumped out a lot more ASFs. He didn't have as much eco as his opponent air player, but he had a lot of opportunities where he killed off a lot of the air. Probably could have gone after some strat bombers. Could have probably... I mean, he went after that Awasaw bomber, which is good, but not really useful at the stage in this game. Could have come down and assisted the Salvation. Salvation could have been built in the rear, actually, to be fair, to protect it a lot more. It does have... I don't know if it has infinite range. It has a lot of range on it. I don't... Well, I mean, it would hit everything in this game regardless of where you put it. I don't know if it has classified under infinite range. That just might be... just so it hits everything on the map regardless. I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. Papa Panda could have been a little more aggressive. I think Team 2's Nemo was able to build up enough after the deaths of his comrades to be able to just pump out so many units. Team 1 should have pushed the advantage and tried to hold it the best they can. At least this northwestern section. Because that's, 3 mass points plus an additional 7 mass points. Plus an additional, they had this section for a while, so that could have been 9 mass points that they had for a longer duration of the game if they had just tried to stay there with it. But Zardoff was pretty solid. He could have used the nuke a lot more effectively, but he built essentially 3 artillery at the end of the game. The artillery weren't really necessary. It was really the nuke. Could have maybe liked to see it go after the Salvation itself, but did go after other structures and other infrastructures, so wasn't too bad. I don't know. I don't know if there's a MVP award for this game because there really, again, wasn't one player that really just, bam, stood out. Team 2's air player of Nemo definitely didn't have the best micro or management, or not micromanagement, but management in general of his ASFs. He could have just returned them to base, kept like 40 or 45 of them, however many they were, and had a larger amount of ASFs in tow, and then maybe just spammed up some bombers, either T2, T3. There could have been better uses of his air, so I feel like if anybody deserves an award, it's probably Zardos for the MUP award. He probably deserves to be maybe 12, 1,300. The nuke play was definitely very good. The artillery wasn't really that necessary. Had there been a little bit more scouting or a little bit more aggressive plays against the Salvation, that would have been killed off a lot sooner. And a lot of Team 1's team definitely would have petered out once that Salvation was killed off. But let me know down in the comments who you think deserves an MVP, MUP award. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of the support. And, of course, I'm closing in on 1,000. Thank you so very much. And I will see all of you in the next one.